stop. Before you reach into your pantry and grab that jar of coconut oil to moisturize your dry silver hair, I need you to listen very carefully. You might be about to make a mistake that turns your beautiful gray strands into brittle wire. We are often told that if it's natural, it must be good for us. But when it comes to gray hair, that is a myth that causes breakage. The truth is, there are 6 common oils sitting in your kitchen right now. One of them is a molecular disaster that creates a protein overload on silver hair. But another one, it is a biological match so perfect, it mimics the oils you had in your 20s. Do you know which bottle is the poison and which is the cure? Here is the truth that the beauty industry often whispers but rarely shouts. Gray hair is not just pigmented hair that has lost its color. It is a completely different biological structure. It is thirstier, often coarser, and significantly more vulnerable to the environment. But here is the good news. The solution to taming the frizz, restoring the shine, and protecting your beautiful silver crown might actually be sitting in your kitchen right now. You just have to know which bottle to grab. Today, we are going to debunk the myths. We are going to look at 6 common oils, and I'm going to tell you which one is an absolute disaster for gray hair and which one is the liquid gold you have been waiting for. But before we dive into the science of your silver strands, I want to welcome you. If you are new here, consider subscribing to our channel. We are building a community dedicated to the kind of senior health and wellness tips that doctors often overlook in those rushed 15-minute appointments. We take the time here to understand the why, and I would love to know who I am talking to today. So in the comments below, tell me where you are watching from and how long you've been embracing your gray hair. It is wonderful to have you with us. Now, let's get down to business. To understand why oils work or don't work, we have to understand what has happened to your hair. When your hair follicles stop producing melanin, the pigment that gave your hair its brown, black, red, or blonde color, something else happens. The oil glands attached to those follicles, the sebaceous glands, also start to slow down. It is a double whammy. You lose the color, which provided some UV protection, and you lose the natural lubrication. This is why gray hair often feels wiry and unmanageable. We are going to fix that today, but we have to start with the most popular oil in the world, the one everyone tells you is a miracle, but which I am telling you is a disaster for your specific hair type. We are talking about coconut oil. I know, you have probably heard that coconut oil is the holy grail of natural beauty. It smells like a tropical vacation, and it is in almost every repair product on the shelf. But for coarse, brittle, gray hair, coconut oil can actually be a wolf in sheep's clothing. Here's the science behind why this happens. Coconut oil is incredibly high in lauric acid, a fatty acid with a low molecular weight and a straight chain structure. This allows it to penetrate the hair shaft very deeply. While that sounds good in theory, a landmark study published in the Journal of Cosmetic Science by Princeton University researchers demonstrated that coconut oil binds to hair proteins with incredible tenacity. For young, elastic hair, this prevents protein loss. But for gray hair, which is already naturally stiffer and lacks elasticity, this deep penetration and protein binding can create a phenomenon known as protein overload. It makes the hair shaft rigid. Imagine your hair is like a dry twig. If you coat that twig in cement, it becomes hard, sure. But if you try to bend it, it doesn't flex, it snaps. That is what coconut oil can do to brittle gray hair. It takes away the flexibility you desperately need. Instead of softening your hair, it can make it feel crunchy, stiff, and prone to breakage. I want you to visualize a dry sponge. If you pour thick concrete into that sponge, it fills the holes, but the sponge becomes a rock. That is coconut oil in gray hair. It occupies a space where you actually want water and hydration to be. So here is your actionable takeaway. If your gray hair feels stiff or snaps easily when you brush it, banish the coconut oil to the kitchen for cooking only. It is excellent for sauteing vegetables, but keep it away from your silver mane. We need to focus on flexibility, not rigidity. Now that we have cleared the disaster out of the way, let's move to something that is likely sitting right next to your stove. This is a complicated one, so let's call it the heavy hitter. We are talking about olive oil Olive oil has been used for thousands of years in the Mediterranean for skin and hair, and for good reason. It is rich, it is nourishing, and it is accessible. However, for the senior community, we have to use it very strategically. Unlike coconut oil, which penetrates and hardens, olive oil is rich in oleic acid and is a heavier, thicker oil. It sits on the boundary of penetrating and sealing. A study published in the International Journal of Molecular Sciences highlighted the potent anti inflammatory and antioxidant properties of the phenolic compounds in extra virgin olive oil. This means it is fantastic for a dry, itchy scalp, something many of us deal with as our skin becomes more sensitive with age. However, because the molecular weight of olive oil is substantial, it can be a nightmare if you try to use it as a styling product. If you leave it in, your beautiful shimmering gray hair will look dull, dark, and greasy. It attracts dust and dirt like a magnet. Think of olive oil like a heavy winter coat. It is absolutely essential. If you are stepping out into a blizzard, it protects you and keeps the moisture in. But you wouldn't wear that heavy coat to a dinner party or while trying to look elegant, would you? It would weigh you down and make you sweat. So, how do we harness the power of this heavy hitter without the greasy downside? We use it as a pre-poo or pre-shampoo treatment. Here is exactly what I want you to do. Once a week, perhaps on a Sunday afternoon when you have nowhere to be, warm up a few tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. Massage it gently into your scalp and work it through the lengths of your hair. Let it sit for 30 minutes. This allows those anti-inflammatory compounds to soothe your scalp and the fatty acids to nourish the hair fiber. Then, and this is the crucial part, shampoo it out completely. You get the deep conditioning benefits without the weight. It leaves your hair feeling like silk, not like a salad. We are making good progress here. We've discarded the coconut oil and repurposed the olive oil. Now, I want to introduce you to what I call the gold standard. If there is one oil I would recommend you invest in for your gray hair, this is it. It is argan oil. You might have seen this labeled as Moroccan oil. True argan oil comes from the kernels of the argan tree, indigenous to Morocco, and it is uniquely suited for the structure of gray hair. Why? It all comes down to the molecular size and the composition. Argan oil is rich in linoleic acid and vitamin E, but the magic is in how it behaves. A study published in the Journal of Cosmetics, Dermatological Sciences and Applications found that argan oil effectively improves the elasticity of hair by restoring the lipid barrier without clogging the cuticle. Remember how we said gray hair is stiff? Elasticity is the ability of the hair to stretch and bounce back. Argan oil provides that bounce. Its molecules are smaller than olive oil, but larger than coconut oil. It is the Goldilocks oil. It penetrates just enough to moisturize the cortex of the hair, but it also forms a breathable, protective layer on the outside that reflects light. And for gray hair, light reflection is everything. We want that silver to shine, not look matte. Imagine rain falling on parched, cracked earth. If the rain is too heavy, it causes a flood. If it's too light, it evaporates. Argan oil is like a steady, soaking drizzle that the earth drinks up gratefully. It disappears into the hair, leaving behind nothing but softness. For those of you with limited mobility in your hands or shoulders, argan oil is also wonderful because you don't need to work hard to distribute it. It spreads easily. Here is your takeaway for argan oil. Use this as your daily finishing serum. You only need a tiny amount, a drop or two, the size of a pearl. Rub it between your palms to warm it up and glide your hands over your dry or damp hair. It instantly smooths down the frizz halo that many of us struggle with, and it doesn't leave a greasy residue. It turns that wire wool texture into spun silk. If you are finding this breakdown helpful so far, do me a quick favor and give this video a thumbs up. It helps other people find this information, and frankly, it lets me know that this is the kind of detail you want. We are halfway through, and the next oil is one that most people misunderstand completely. Let's talk about jojoba oil. I call this one the sebum match. Now, I'm going to let you in on a little biological secret. Jojoba oil isn't actually an oil at all. It is a liquid wax ester. Why does that matter? Because under a microscope, the molecular structure of jojoba is almost identical to the sebum, the natural oil that your own scalp produces. As we age, our hormone levels change. Post-menopause, the production of sebum drops off a cliff. This is why your scalp feels tight and dry and why the hair growing out of it is thirsty. From day one, since your body isn't making enough oil anymore, jojoba is the perfect biomimetic replacement. You are essentially tricking your skin into thinking it has produced enough of its own moisture. A review in the journal Karger Skin Pharmacology and Physiology detailed how wax esters like jojoba provide a non-occlusive barrier. This means it protects the skin and hair without sealing it off completely. It lets the scalp breathe. Other oils can sit on top of the scalp and clog your follicles, which can actually impede hair growth. Jojoba creates a healthy environment for the hair to grow. Think of it like a key fitting into a lock. Coconut oil is the wrong key, it gets jammed. Olive oil is a key that is too big. Jojoba is the master key. It fits perfectly into the biology of your scalp. Here is how I want you to use jojoba oil. If you suffer from a dry, itchy scalp, or if you have dandruff, which is often just dry skin in seniors, this is your remedy. Buy a small bottle of pure jojoba oil. Before you wash your hair, apply it directly to the scalp. Because it is so light, it won't weigh down your roots. It balances everything out. It tells your scalp, it's okay. We have enough moisture now. You can relax. Next on our list is an oil that addresses a problem we don't talk about enough: sun damage. We all know we need sunscreen for our face, but did you know your gray hair is incredibly susceptible to sunburn? This is where almond oil comes in, or as I call it, the UV shield. When your hair was pigmented, the melanin acted as a natural sunscreen. It absorbed UV radiation to protect the protein structure of the hair. Gray hair has no melanin, it is defenseless. When UV rays hit gray hair, they degrade the keratin protein rapidly, leading to yellowing. Have you ever noticed your beautiful white hair turning a dingy yellow in the summer? That is often oxidation from sun damage. Almond oil, specifically sweet almond oil, is incredibly rich in vitamin E, particularly alpha tocopherol. A study in the Journal of Photochemistry and Photobiology confirmed that vitamin E is one of the most potent antioxidants for preventing UV-induced free radical damage. While almond oil is not a replacement for a hat, it provides a significant layer of chemical defense. Imagine almond oil as an invisible umbrella. It doesn't block the sun like a brick wall, but it filters out the harshest rays that cause that yellowing and degradation. Plus, almond oil is very light in texture, so it won't pull your volume down. Here is the practical application. If you know you are going to be out in the garden or taking a walk, mix a few drops of almond oil with water in a spray bottle. Give your hair a light mist. It acts as a protective shield. It keeps your color pristine and your strands strong. It is a simple step that makes a massive difference in the long-term color and health of your hair. We have arrived at our final oil, and this one is for a very specific concern that I see in so many of my older friends and patients. Thinning edges. You look in the mirror and notice that the hair around your temples and your forehead is getting sparse. It is distressing. For this, we turn to castor oil, the growth booster. Castor oil is the heavy-duty machinery of the oil world. It is thick, sticky, and viscous. It is rich in a unique compound called ricinoleic acid. Research published in the Journal of Ethnopharmacology suggests that ricinoleic acid has potential anti-inflammatory effects that can improve blood flow when applied topically. While no oil can magically make hair grow where a follicle is dead, castor oil creates the absolute best environment for struggling follicles to produce stronger hair, thicker hair. However, we have to be honest about the texture. Castor oil is like molasses. If you put this all over your hair, you will look like you have been caught in an oil slick. And washing it out is a workout in itself, something we want to avoid if you have arthritis in your hands. It is too sticky for the length of your hair. So here is the secret to using it without the mess. We use it for spot treatment only. Dip a cotton swab, a Q-tip into the castor oil, then gently trace the areas where your hair is thinning, usually right along the hairline or the part. Do this at night. By using a cotton swab, you apply the oil only to the skin and the roots, not the hair strands. While you sleep, that ricinoleic acid works to nourish the follicles and improve circulation. In the morning, You can wash your face and hairline, and the stickiness is gone. Think of castor oil not as a conditioner, but as a fertilizer. You don't put fertilizer on the leaves of the plant, you put it in the soil. Treat your thinning edges like a delicate garden that needs a very rich, potent nutrient boost. So let's take a breath and look at what we have built here. We have a complete toolkit for your silver hair, all from nature. We have learned that coconut oil is a no-go because it binds to proteins and makes our brittle hair even stiffer. It's the disaster we avoid. We have olive oil, our heavy hitter, which we relegate to a pre-shampoo mask for deep conditioning without the heaviness. We have argan oil, our gold standard, the perfect daily serum for shine and elasticity. We have jojoba oil, the sebum match, perfect for balancing a dry scalp. We have almond oil, our UV shield to stop that yellowing sun damage. And finally, castor oil, the growth booster for those thinning temples. It is a lot of information, I know, but you don't have to do it all at once. Start with one change. Maybe this week, you just stop using the coconut oil. Maybe next week, you buy a small bottle of argan oil. Small steps lead to big changes. I want to remind you of something important. Your hair changing is a sign of life. It is a badge of honor. It shows that you have lived, you have laughed, you have weathered storms. The goal isn't to make your hair look like it did when you were 20. The goal is to make it look the most beautiful, healthy version of what it is now. You deserve to feel confident and radiant. You have control over your health, and that extends to the very top of your head. As we wrap up, I have a question for you to ponder and answer in the comments. Which of these oils have you tried? And which one are you most excited to switch to? Your experience helps everyone else in this community, so please share your story. If you found this helpful, please like this video and subscribe. We are building this channel because your health is worth fighting for, and we want you to have the best science-backed information to navigate these years with grace and vitality. Go look in the mirror, give those silver strands a little love, and remember, you are not just aging, you are evolving. And with the right tools, you can shine brighter than ever. I'll see you in the next video. Stay healthy.